Pasha Paro, YN7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. All right, so let's get into it here. You know, because I posted a pic today. Just fresh in the mail today. Got it. So, and someone asked the question of, what is that book? Now, at first glance, the answer is fairly in plain sight, right? So, but what is that book? What is that book? Civil Resource Manual. Civil Resource Manual. And why would you get that? Right? Yeah. You can access a lot of things online. But what if, like, with Russia and all this going on, you know, in the Atlantic? Yeah, I said Atlantic. You know, and the little internet cables go down, or there's some little disruption. You know what I'm saying? How's that going to affect your access to your online resources? Right? Give me a moment here. I'll put this together for you. All right. Give me a second. Turn this stuff down so we don't get interrupted here. All right, I'm ready. Let's go. So, Civil Resource Manual. Okay, we're gonna run through why it's important. We're gonna run through what it is, though, and then that's gonna tell you why it's important. Okay, because I made myself the same promise that you made to yourself. I guarantee it. We might have said it differently. We might have started at different times. However, I guarantee we made the same promise to each other's selves. Okay? So if I ask you, now that you made yourself that promise, what if, let me put it like this. What is the most important resource? What would your answer be? You know, drop that in the comments below. Right? What is the most important resource? Which reminds me, hold on. All right. So what is the most important resource? Let's take a look. We're gonna run through this real quick. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on these, but I just want to go over this real quick. This from a little website, you know. And what are the list of the top 11 natural resource examples, right? Renewable and non-renewable. Okay. So they're gonna high level overview, right? So they say copper is number 11. Electricity, right? Electrical wires, industrial machinery, roofing, plumbing. Sounds like we need copper. Helium. First thing people think of is balloons, they say. However, the Large Hadron Collider would basically melt down if it wasn't for helium. MRI scanners, stuff like that, anything using superconducting magnets, all that good stuff, right? Need helium to keep it cool. Used in the process of fiber optics, making fiber optics and semiconductors. Okay, so yeah, we need some helium. It sounds like, right? Bauxite forms rocks in the soils. Need for this, need for that. A process in drilling for oil and gas, right? So, okay, used in making aluminum metal. All right, iron. You need that in your blood, even, right? Okay, coal. Self-explanatory. Natural gas. Same. Oil. I know you're on the fence with all this natural resources versus electricity, battery, wind, green turbine. I know you got that divide. Okay, that's not the purpose of this right now. Salt, been used for millennia. Need that, right? Timber, wood. Look at your, structure that's surrounding you right now. There's possibly some wood involved in it. You know what I mean? Soil. Okay, sounds like it's too easy. And then obviously they're listing number one is water. Okay, so you're gonna need water. You're gonna need fresh water, right? Definitely gonna need fresh water. Okay. So, Posh, what's up with the book? You know what I'm saying? What's up with the book, right? That's what you want to know. You want to know what's up with the book. All right. First, let's talk about a couple things. Okay. So I showed you that list of top resources, per some randomly selected website to illustrate that no matter which one you feel like is most important, whether you felt like it was the oil because you need gas, or if you felt like it was the water because you want fresh water to drink, or if you think it's the iron or the bauxite, right? No matter which one you selected, what would the world be today if we didn't have all of them? What would the world be today without them all? Could you imagine a life where all you had was soil and water? You know what I mean? Like that's it. There was no concrete, right? There was no timber, right? It just water and soil. Do that. What we've proved is the best resources must be discovered. The best resources, or most valuable, you could say, highly sought after, right? Rare, right? So, those resources must be discovered. I know they're going to say, "Oh, don't refer to people as resources. That's immoral." Okay. If that's your complaint, if that's what you're venting, I have no debate for that. Why you don't see me everywhere all the time? It's not what you think. It's because I'm busy discovering. I'm busy discovering. See, and to discover, in order to discover, you must be where undiscovered things dwell. And if we are among the undiscovered, then you must and they must discover me. And they must discover you. That's why you must discover me. You see? We're busy discovering. So we are often where undiscovered things dwell. And if we live among the undiscovered, then you got to discover us. So your life needs certain resources. Every life needs certain resources. The life of your car, the life of your body, the life of a home. It all needs certain resources. Some more important than others, right? And a lot of time and money has been spent distracting you from the resources you truly need. Nobody can say you ran off and left them behind and you went and did or you became anything without them when you've offered them all the opportunity to join you, to build together, right? You've been using the same phone number 20 years, right? So what's a resource? Something that we covered on this channel before, why that's 7. You know, Pasha, why you go off into etymology world for 10 years? Because I want it. One is from the perspective of lack. And I was lacking, I thought at the time I was lacking the ability for communication and understanding. Translation, comprehension. But it took me a long time to realize I wasn't lacking. We aren't lacking those skills, those resources. We're lacking those who value those resources. So you spend a long period of time investing in others by study. One, studying everybody you can. When you see me somewhere, you probably be like, what's he doing? I'm studying the people, the environment, the why. Helps me better understand myself. Helps me better understand how to help the next person when I understand this person that's going through the same thing, that has the same emotional tune. Yeah. So what is a resource? Let's take a look at that. So a resource is stock or reserve available. Stock or reserve available. See? Civil Resource Manual. Stock or reserve available. Civil stock or reserve available. Civil stock or reserve available manual. We're going to put it together real quick. We ain't going to be long. All right? So what is a manual? What is a manual? Well, 1406, right? It was an adjective. 1432, it was a noun, was applied. So in 1406, the adjective was belonging of or belonging to the hand. Okay? So a helping hand is a good resource. A helping hand is a good resource. A noun manual is service book used by a priest. Okay? So has some other text there. The case or cover of a book, handbook, service book. So a service book used by a priest. And yeah, you could argue the fact that at some point in the past, possibly the word priest meant to herd cattle, a herder of cattle, or an old man. Either way, it's some wisdom involved there. So a manual is the service book used by a priest. So now to know what this, not what this book is, or not what this book has in it, but what the book is. See, because we could do this real quick. We could do this real quick. Here, let's do this real quick. This Department of Justice manual for entertainment purposes covers a multitude of topics such as Attorney General opinions, immunity of the United States from suit, standing to sue, service on government officers in official capacity, court and federal claims litigation, bankruptcy and the government, claims in bankruptcy, principles of contract interpretation, claims of mistakes in beds, Medicare overpayment cases, Social Security Act review procedures, odometer fraud prosecutions, subpoenas to targets for forensic evidence, restitution for consumers, sovereign immunity, and much, much more. That's what's in the book, and much, much more. Buy now. See, the thing is you can look at this online. I'm in the mindset of starting to acquire the tangibles, the physicals, because of where I want to go next. Some of us are by ourselves because people don't want to go where we're going. You know, they want to go. You might be doing similar things, but they want to get it this way. We're going to build a city. So, where are we at? We went over manual, right? Service book used by a priest in this application, right? We went over resource, stock, or available, or reserve available. So let's bring it all together by taking a look at civil, because civil is a pretty interesting word. So civil it says here borrowed through Old French before 1387. Now keep this in mind. Before 1387, it was from Latin civilis, right? Of or proper to a citizen, relating to private rights, state law, and public life. Urban in manner. Citizen. See city. So almost 300 years later, the slang use became polite. You see what I'm saying? So when people be like, oh, let's keep it civil, they're like, oh, let's keep it polite. No, civil is of or pertaining or proper to a citizen, relating to private rights, state law, and public life. Now, some of those words gonna mean some things to some of y'all people. Of or proper to a citizen, relating to private rights, state law, and public life. So then, now that we reviewed the words, the components of what we see imprinted on this cover. Civil Resource Manual. What that basically translates to is the service book of stock or reserves available used by a priest of or proper to a citizen, relating to private rights, state law, and public life. See, it had 3 words on the cover. Pasha, why you spend so much time? Why you start a channel based on etymology? It's got 3 words on the cover. What it mean? How many people by a show of waves in the comments would have walked by this book 5 years ago and picked it up? Saw the cover, Civil Resource Manual. How many people have been like, I'm excited. 600 pages. I'm excited. How many people would have been excited? Right? What excites you? Okay. So, Civil Resource Manual. All right, y'all? That's what I wanted to bring y'all today. The service book of stock or reserves available used by a priest of or proper to a citizen, relating to private rights, state law, and public life. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit the like button, just hit the share button, share it with some people, right? Because you need to get your pocket right. Not this pocket, but your pocket, right? You know what I'm saying? Or you just need to be by yourself in the pocket and go in, right? So share, like, and subscribe. Did a video, the last video, check it out. And I want to dive into this manual, this service book used by a priest, right? I want to dive into this manual in the future, the near future, going forward. And let's talk about some things and connect some dots. Okay? Pasha Paro, YNet7. Thank you for tuning.